here early in the morning, heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say. I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! What we got? 302BIRDS, United States. Go Birds! Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You have made it throughout the drought of the offseason. Well, at least like almost the halfway point. It is NFL Draft Week. We will see tomorrow night, Thursday night, April 24th, around, I would say, 26, 27 hours just from now, who will be the newest and greatest Philadelphia Eagle. And that's being generous, hoping that Howie Roseman doesn't trade up. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome, of course, to another episode of 302BIRDS. My name is Dalton Holland. Tonight, I am joined by Jack Jordan and Ashley Estes. We're going to be talking about everything the latest and greatest in Philly sports, including the New York Mets sweeping us, Romano talking about why this guy should go. Ash, I don't know if you were the one that made that lower third, but it is well done. Well done on that. You guys are going to like that. We're going to be talking about a little Cubs series preview, kicking it to Chicago, Ashley's stomping grounds. Then we're going to be talking about who might be the best mascot in sports. A late happy birthday to the Philly fanatic. Cam Jurgens being extended. Some potential steals in the draft at pick 32. And of course, who are some names that our Philadelphia Eagles should trade up for? But before we got any of that, we actually got a call-in for you guys. Let's bring back on a familiar face.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is. Their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds. Yes, if you're in and around Delaware, please stop by your local El Diablo Burritos. They got the best burritos in town. We got famous Dennis. How you doing today, buddy? Look at that little side eye.
Hello.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Ash.
Hi, buddy.
So, first off, Jack, I miss you.
Miss you too, buddy.
I got to make sure I give you that shout out at the end of every Sixers show because I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Ash, always good to see you. I know the big day's coming. Happy for you. Miss you.
Thank you.
Dalt, you're always wonderful as always. Crazy off the wall question because I know we always get straight to the point, try to be serious. Can we all agree after this disastrous Sixers season, it is time to change the logo and get rid of Clifford, the big red dog's dumb cousin Franklin?
Yes, I mean, if anything that can help this Sixers team actually be a decent team to watch and not pry our eyes out every time we watch it, yeah, I think anything possible, whether it be changing the logo, whether it be changing the mascot, I think there needs to be something done. Maybe firing Morey because this team is abysmal. And I know they're tanking this season. Who knows if we'll get Cooper Flag. Our hope is that he will be our, saving son. But yeah, I mean, anything possible to help this team out would be awesome.
Yeah, I got to agree because ultimately changing coaches, we've done that multiple times and it hasn't gotten us anywhere. We've changed the team around here and there and it's not doing anything. So if changing the mascot's what we got to do, I'm personally not entirely attached to Franklin. So whatever we got to do. I mean, we can pretty much blow up the entire system at this point and I would not complain.
I'll say this, D, and then I'll kick it to you, brother. I think, in my opinion, this is a great take. A logo is your identity. A logo means so much more than people realize. It's the first thing that people think when they see you. So let's take our logo, for example, right? We have two different variations of the 302 Birds logo. You can ask Ashley. I'm a nutcase about this one. I love the 1996 identity. I just think it's awesome. It looks great. It's a little bit crooked, but it has more passion to it. It's more Philadelphia to me. When you look at that, that just reminds me of Philadelphia. That reminds me of Brian Dawkins, so on and so forth. You know, we all think of something when we see it. That Sixers logo reminds me of a greater era of Philadelphia 76ers, a team that played with more heart, a team that played with more passion, a team that every time that they stepped on that court understood that they had a job to fulfill of being a great product for the fans out there too. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean it's a relationship being a Philadelphia athlete. It goes both ways. You got to bring your best. And if you bring your best, we're going to bring our best as fans. But if you don't bring your best, God bless you.
In my opinion of it, I mean, let's be honest. The last time that jersey or logo even had relevancy and had anything positive behind it, it's not even a playoff run when we lost to the Raptors. It's when Allen Iverson came back to the Sixers 3 years after he left. That was the last time it was relevant. That's the last time it was decent to look at. Ever since then, it's just been abysmal downward spiral of things to go wrong. The logo, just like you said, Dalt, it's an identity. That identity is for a team that stands on business, and right now the team that we have does not stand on business. They're lucky if they should even stand on a court. They're lucky if they should even stand in the NBA. They should probably just go back to the G League. There's a lot of things that need to change inside the organization. Morey is one of them. It's just a waiting process at this point because we're in the playoffs for basketball. We're not there. It's another year that we're miserable that we're not there. So, you know, we have to stand on business next season and hope nobody gets hurt. You can't pin an injury bug on anybody if it happens. But with that said, I appreciate y'all's time. I love y'all. Good to be back. Good to have good internet that I could finally get on here, see everybody's wonderful faces. Jack, don't make fun of me later tonight, please.
I won't. Don't worry. Don't worry, buddy.
If
you know I love
do,
you.
I'll find you.
I know. You'll watch it.
Hey, D, I got one question for you. On your way out, is there any position that you want to see the Eagles draft first round or any holes you want to see filled?
Dalton, I love you. You know I love you. But I have a bone to pick with you before I leave.
Let's hear it.
How dare you? How dare you say the Eagles need to draft a safety when they have the GOAT in Sidney Brown coming back to take charge? How dare you? How dare you? That's all I can tell you. But they need an edge rusher. They need to replace Brandon Graham. They need some youth there because Nolan Smith's going to need backup. Thank God for Mr. Inconsistent Sweaty J is gone. Only shows up when he wants to. Thank God he's gone. So need to get some young blood there and build it up. If they can find a way to get TJ Watt off the Steelers off of some crazy trade, something stupid, send some draft picks, then go for it.
I like it. TJ Watt would be insane. Well, Dennis, I appreciate you joining us, man. Guys, please be sure to give Dennis a follow at Dennis302Sixers. He is holding it down with our guy Mac on the Sixers Postgame Show. I know this season didn't go the way that they wanted, but their energy was incredible, and they were about as positive as you could be. Dennis is backstage making faces, cracking me up because, yeah, he knows how much of a suffering that team was, and they did their best. They were great. Fortunately, one of the parts of being a Philly sports fan is continuous suffering. I guess even though we miss him and we haven't seen him in years, I might as well hit the intro for old time's sake. Tommy, if you're listening, we love you, buddy. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy.
Dinger stitch.
Well, no dingers have really been happening. I've never seen a team lay down and die as pathetically as this team did this series. The fact that you got swept by the New York Mets is horrendous. I mean, number one, we had to hear it from every single Mets fan in the comments. Shout out to Shardy, shout out to Chaos Chris, shout out to Fratty for holding it down on the Phillies postgame show. But I'm just watching all the comments roll in. And it's actually funny of how New York fans come out of the woodwork when it's time to talk shit to Philadelphia fans. You would be shocked at how many of their fans are like, oh, okay, I can poke a button. I can poke a bear, push a button. Let's try it. Disgusting series. I mean, you're looking at some of the worst pitching in the MLB. The bullpen did not play well. They were not where they're supposed to be. You're looking at just bad pitching. Like, you're already down 0-2, and they're doing something stupid, like putting a ball right there where they can knock a home run. I don't know. From my very amateur perspective of watching baseball, this team is so hard to watch. And it feels like they got to rip the Band-Aid off and get somebody out of here to make a difference. They need to fire someone, because if they don't, I don't see how anything's going to change. I mean, we've been getting told the same thing over and over again. Are we really going to run it back for the rest of this season? Are we really ready to put the hat in for this season as a Phillies fan? Because it feels like that's what the organization and that's what the team is saying to us. So once again, I've never seen a team just lay down and die in a series like that. It was horrible. Ash, what do you think?
Awful. Beyond awful. The issue is that the Mets are kind of this team that they're in our division, right? So they're going to play us harder than they would play an average team. B, they are just playing solid baseball. They're doing what they have to do, and they're winning games. We are, at times, on the offensive side, doing what we need to do. Our starting pitching, a little bit shakier the last week or so, but in general, the starting pitching is doing what they have to do. The bullpen collapses every stinking game, and it does not matter which person in the bullpen we're talking about. We will talk about a particular one that we should be highlighting here in a couple minutes. But in general, I have not been impressed with anybody in our bullpen. And that is a scary place to be. Right now, we are, I don't think we're leading right now, but we are easily in the top 5 of teams of leaving runners on base. We can't finish it. We start off pretty good, but we can't finish it. My father texted us last week, and this was a text that cracked, I think, everybody up in the 302BIRDS area here. But my dad just simply said, sorry for getting you guys involved in this crap show known as the Phillies organization. You have my permission to become White Sox fans. That is what the Estes family is feeling at this point in this abysmal series and all of the things. And yes, there's a lot of texts that go back and forth actually between Dalton and I about my dad, and they're Facebook friends. So they see a lot of it too.
Very great statuses, I was going to say. Some of them crack me up, but that one was a pretty funny text message. Here's my question. You're at the lowest point, I think, arguably, in your years as a Phillies fan, one of the lowest points. We're at a real crossroads right now in the season, at a low point in low points. Are you ready to say that you would ever switch being a Philly fan, or is this ride or die for you, sister?
Never. I am not to that point. I never will be. I will say I struggle with the fact that, and everybody's been saying last year we got hot too early. I would like to see, I don't need like fire at this point. I need sparks. I need something. And it really seems like as soon as the Phillies daycare came out and said, like, we're not doing water, we're not having fun anymore, that turned everything around. And I would be very curious to hear like their perspective on that.
Yeah, that was an interesting quote, I guess, that Bryce Harper technically had, where he was like, they're not the daycare anymore. Stop calling them that. It was almost like fucking Batman when he took the question when he fielded. He's like, stop calling them the daycare. They're not the daycare anymore. It's like, okay, like it's a nickname, chill. But yeah, I feel like the vibes really haven't been the same since then. And I don't know if it's because of that. I don't know if it's because there's too much pressure. I'm really not sure. Jack, you got any thoughts on it?
I mean, it's definitely a shame that you lose a series to the Mets when you have when the Mets have one of the top paid players in the MLB, and Juan Soto getting paid $750 million over 15 years, who can't hit shit at all. And the fact that we're losing to a team like that, who, you know, I will give it to them. The Mets bullpen is definitely above and beyond the Phillies right now. But yeah, it's just embarrassing that you can't at least get one win. I mean, it's just, we need to do something about it. I mean, we've talked about it before. The pitching needs to get better. Aaron Nola is throwing ducks. I mean, he can't get his pitcher on time, like his pitches on time. So that's a big issue. And we need to figure something out because, you know, these games in reality don't matter right now, but in the long run they do, because come October, these wins that we have, I think these losses that we have right now are gonna be our Achilles heel. So we need to figure something out. The bats aren't really hitting that well at all. So we gotta go to square one, the basics, and see what these Phillies can do, because they are a good team. I mean, granted, they're not playing like a great team, but they are a great team, and they need to show us fans that they're legit and that they are ready to come and win the series, the World Series this year. That's all I got to say.
They need to bounce back. They've been so, you're right. It's something needs to change. And I think that just shows that a firing needs to happen mid-season. I'm not crazy about it either. I know Chaos Chris wasn't crazy about it. He was talking about that on the postgame show. But because of players like Romano, I mean, how do you not scream at your TV watching this series? How do you not scream at your team every time you watch this little dicky looking motherfucker? I'm sorry, but he looks like if Little Dicky was on the rapper. Love Little Dicky, first off. No disrespect to Dave. Hilarious rapper, hilarious actor, hilarious person. But stay in your lane. Drake once had a quote. You ain't see Mike try to sing like Pac. You never see Pac try to ball like Mike. Or it was something like that, essentially. Basically meaning stay in your lane. Like, that was the premise of the quote. Little Dicky would never pitch a fucking baseball. Romano should be working at Wendy's, as Fratty would say. Stay in your lane, Jordan Romano, because pitching a baseball is not for you. Romano is the new Taiwan Walker. All the hate that we had for Romano, we're going to turn and push it. Or I'm sorry, all the hate that we had towards Walker, we're going to turn now and put it towards Romano, because this guy is trash. I mean, I've seen enough. Get him out of here.
Yeah, awful. I mean, anytime that guy goes in, I feel like we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Today as well, we had the lead. We had the dang lead. Not only did we lose the lead, but then we gave off a stinking walk-off single. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously, let's think about that for a minute. That should not happen. You are in the MLB. You have supposedly earned your right to be here. Prove that you not only deserve to be here, but you deserve to stay. Right now, I don't even think that you should be in the minor leagues. You need to be gone. Out. I'm done.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Craig Kimball of 2 years ago, where we were going to win the NLDS or NLDS against the Diamondbacks, and Craig Kimbrell just folded, and we lost, and we should have won that series. But yeah, I mean, Romano, I mean, I don't understand what Rob Thompson's doing right now. Maybe he's throwing him more to get more confidence. I mean, he needs it. I just think that whenever this guy is up on the mound, we know it's not gonna be good news. So we got to figure out, like, we got to work in our lineup like good pitchers. I mean, we haven't really had a decent reliever pitcher in years. So we got to figure that out because those, I think, being a pitcher is one of the most important positions in the MLB. Because they could be a make and break for a win or a loss. So he needs to either square the fuck up, or he needs to, I don't know, go back down, get some more reps in, and maybe come back and see what he can do, because this is ridiculous, and this is not good news for these Phillies.
Something's got to change. Something has got to change. They are just too stagnant right now. Their bullpen sucks. Their bats suck. Their bats just can't seem to get a hold of anything. And that's honestly why this Cubs series at Wrigley Field, I'm nervous about. I think that the Phillies could fall flat on their face in this series. This series is a really important series. This series is the most important series of the year so far for the Phillies because, and yes, you could have said that about the Mets series that we just played, which is true. But seriously, this is a real breaking point for the Phils of where we're either going to fix it or something big is going to happen. Because I don't foresee the Philadelphia Phillies just laying down and dying and accepting failure with the talent that they have on this roster. I can't see that in any place in my head. So they're either going to get better as a team. Guys like Trey Turner, who were paid to come here, are going to step up. Guys are going to be more consistent at the plate with the daycare. I'm talking about Brandon Marsh and Alec Boehm. Guys are just going to play better baseball at the plate. They're going to start batting better. They're going to play small ball. They're going to play baseball as a team, as a whole, as one. Or somebody's ass is getting shipped out of here. Somebody's losing their job because I'm not laying down, giving up, and not caring about another season again for a team that has so much potential. The Eagles got the job done. The Eagles are good in my book. The Eagles get the 5-year pass for what I'm concerned. Now, look, am I going to be pissed if the Eagles don't make the playoffs next year or don't win the Super Bowl? Yes, I'll be livid. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is the Eagles got the job done. When you get the job done in this city, you almost are invincible for a couple of years because we ride that emotional high. I understand it doesn't happen every year. It's not like it's Boston. You know what I mean? Like you're a Boston fan that grew up in the early 2000s. Oh, yeah, I saw like 12 parade. Like, come on. It's horrible. Be a real fan. But, I mean, it's frustrating when you know that the team is right on the brink of it. And KJ said it a couple weeks ago, and I think it's a great quote, that this team's window has probably closed, that this team's best shot was when the Rangers won the World Series, I believe it was, and the Phillies ended up losing to the Diamondbacks. If they would have played the Rangers in that World Series, they probably would have won. And now we're looking back on it saying, what could have been?
Yeah, this series scares me. Living in Chicago, people right now are really high on the Cubs. They beat the Dodgers again yesterday. They are winning games by really large margins. And that is something that the Cubs this season have proven is when they win all out. And when they lose, they generally lose in close games. They're not losing by 5 or 6 runs, which I feel like the Phillies have been pretty good at. So this weekend they are coming to Wrigley. Wrigley also notoriously is a really hard stadium to play in, just because of the actual architecture of it. So I will be curious. I am incredibly nervous to see how they play out here over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, this is one of the most important series this early in the season. And we beat we beat the Dodgers. We didn't sweep them, but we won the series with the Dodgers. And we need to win the series with the Cubs. The Cubs are in first place currently in the National League Central. So I mean, this is a big series, and the Phillies can do it. I mean, like I just said, we won probably one of our most important series against the Dodgers a couple weeks ago. Who is probably one of the best teams in baseball right now. So there is hope. The Phillies can do it, but they got to lock in and they got to show everyone that was a fluke against the Mets and that they're legit. Because this from games here on out, they matter. Whether you sweep a series or win a series, these games are most important. I mean, it's getting, even though it's April right now, October is right around the corner. So just got to win these series now. I'm not saying sweep them, but yeah, this is definitely an important series for us to win.
Make or break, might I say. So yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend at Wrigley. If anybody's there, we'll be there. Let us know. Shoot some content. That'll be fun to watch. I mean, Trey Turner is someone that I'm going to really keep an eye on because he's somebody that I feel has kind of been underwhelming with what he's done. I feel like we definitely know that he can do more, and we've been waiting on it for, I feel like, years now. So I'm just ready for Trey Turner to break out and make us proud because, man, I am just frustrated. I feel like he should be a real supporter to Bryce Harper. And I feel like sometimes he just kind of waits for someone else to be that guy. And Jason Kelce even said it himself on 94 WIP this morning, I believe it was. And he said, I want someone with some gutso for the Phillies. Phillies, if you're listening to that, you should be embarrassed. That's embarrassing hearing Jason Kelce come on there and say that he wants someone with some gutso. In my opinion, you should be disgusted because that means that he thinks that there isn't an alpha of the Philadelphia Phillies. There isn't one guy that can step up to the plate when his name is called and say, hey, you know what? This is what the team brought me in for. I got this. That's embarrassing. And I actually really honestly agree with Jason Kelce. It is Bryce Harper's team, but Bryce Harper can't be the only guy. Baseball's a team sport, and Kyle Schwarber can't be the only guy either. It can't be the Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber show and everybody else plays defense and calls it a day. I mean, it really can't because baseball is such a sport of consistency too, where you really have to be on. You got to be locked in. And if you're not, you're not. And I don't know. I'm really just frustrated with this team because I feel like it's unfair to Bryce. It's unfair to Kyle. And I feel like this team deserves better. I feel like those guys deserve better. And it's not fair. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. It's definitely interesting for sure to talk about. But moving on now to our next debate. This is something that I've kind of wanted to talk about. Obviously, the best mascot in all of sports is the Philadelphia Fanatic. When you want to talk about historic, when you want to talk about personality, when you want to talk about just creativity, the Philly Fanatic has it all. But it made me think, who are some of the other great mascots in all of sports? Not just Philadelphia sports. Obviously, I love Swoop. Swoop's a legend. But who are some of the other greats? So I'll kick it off. I'm going to say Blitz from the Seahawks. Great mascot, great personality, isn't too scary. That's one thing that I keep in mind. Like, when you see this mascot, is it going to be like seeing the old Chuck E. Cheese where you're going to shit a brick when you see it? Or are you going to be a little bit more calm when you see this thing? I feel like Blitz does a good job of encouraging children. He's happy, he's upbeat, and it just is a good mascot. So Blitz from the Seattle Seahawks is my first answer to kick it off. Jack, Ash, anybody that you guys have as a best mascot in sports, if it's not the Fanatic or just one you like?
I'll take Jack, you can take this one.
I'm going to go with the Colts mascot. I'm not sure what his name is, but I follow him on social media, and the videos he does just with the whipped cream or Cool Whip in the pie thing and just smacks everyone, like famous people in the face. It just brings some kind of comedy to the city of Indianapolis. So, and he's involved in a lot. So I like him a lot. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a really good one. I've met him a couple of times. He's met dolphins and elephants, and seems to like him and tend to feed them. I'm gonna stick. Joey made a dang good graphic. He must have been reading our minds or something. I'm gonna go Benny the Bull. He is one of those iconic basketball mascots who's always very engaging with the crowd. Do I also have permission to throw in my least favorite?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Bernie the Brewer. Bernie the Brewer has his chateau, his little house, and people get really excited because there's a giant slide in American Family Field up in Milwaukee. All he does is he goes out onto the balcony, he waves, and he goes down the slide if they get a home run. That's it. That's all the guy does. Legitimately. I've not seen him do anything else, and I've been to a fair share of Brewers games. But for my favorite, I'm going to go Benny the Bull, other than the Fanatic.
Yeah, of course. Benny the Bull's a good one. I think he's also had a historic run. I mean, being able to be the mascot for Michael Jordan is a pretty good thing that you can put on your job resume. I like Benny the Bull a lot. I will say there are some creative ones. I'm not going to say I like the Mets mascot, but I'm going to say the Mets mascot is a creative one for sure. Jack, if I'm not mistaken, do the Phoenix Suns have a gorilla as their mascot? Like it looks like somebody in the gorilla costume from SpongeBob. Is that literally their mascot?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
wild.
Kind
of, I don't see like some of the NBA mascots. I don't understand because you got, like for the Phoenix Suns, why is it a gorilla? That makes no freaking sense whatsoever. What other teams that have like weird mascots?
What about Steely McBeam from the Steelers? That's another one that's just random. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just like it feels forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, I mean, yeah, I just think they don't make sense to me because like the Orlando Magic, actually that makes sense because it's a dragon. But yeah, I don't know. Some of the teams that I can't think of them right now, but their mascots make no sense, like no correlation to the team whatsoever.
No, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Also, the Pirates mascot, the parrot, kind of looks like a mimic of the Philly Fanatic, I'll say, with the green and the wide hips. Just saying. I'm just saying. Sir Purr's a pretty good one for the Panthers. I like him a lot. And then last but not least, one more just to share. I'm going to say, you know what? You got to give it up for the street mascots like Birdman, like, what's his name? Who's the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs? That Chiefsaholic, right? Like those mascots, super fans, but not like a super fan where you can see their face. And no disrespect to the best super fans we know. I mean, PSG, Nady, who will be representing so well at the draft tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But not like fans like that, but I mean like where they're fully masked up, like an animal, stuff like that in the streets. That's a good one too. So I would name some of them as honorable mentions. Moosey dropping some knowledge right here. Jack Dordan's going to be excited at that one. Is there an actual costume of a leprechaun that walks around at the game?
It's literally a guy, a human being that's dressed up like a leprechaun.
Oh my God.
It's not like, it's
That's
very,
a really good one that I was not thinking of, but yeah.
He's cool. He does all the push-ups in the end zone when they score touchdown.
The Oregon Duck doing all the push-ups too. That one's a fun, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hawk.
Well, especially
St. Joe's. How did I forget that? Who doesn't stop flapping their wings, man? The St. Joe's
You're
Hawks
a fake St. Joe's guy, even though you went there.
Yeah, fake, even though I went there. Makes no fucking sense what you just said, but go ahead.
I mean, UD for Delaware, representing right here. He's involved in a lot for all the sports. You got Baby Blue.
She.
We don't know if it's he or she. It's just Baby Blue.
It's a blue hen. Isn't it a female? Isn't a hen a female chicken?
That is a true statement. Coming.
That I didn't know. I didn't know that. So
Sorry,
anyway,
we're all just coming out there a
but
little bit.
Put some respect on her name.
They do a lot for the city of Newark. They do a lot for the teams. If you go to a college basketball or UD basketball game for men's or women, not many people go to those games, but UD is always there. So I mean, he's pretty involved in the public eye. So I would say UD is up there.
Yeah, I think UD's a fair answer for sure. I like UD. That's one that's definitely slept on. But moving along now to our next topic, we talked about a little bit of the mascots. Let's talk about the guy who, with the first thing he decided to do with his extension money was go get TSA pre-check. I don't understand why, because I actually just looked at TSA pre-check this week, getting ready for a wedding. It's not expensive. It's probably $75 maybe. Maybe the other one's like $120 at most for 5 years. So that just tells you how frugal this guy must be with his money. And I just think he's awesome. He's a great personality. He's a great kid. He plays football at a high level. And he didn't have easy shoes to walk into at the center position when he was drafted. Number one, they transitioned him from guard to center. But he's really had to evolve after Jason Kelce left. That's not an easy job when Jason Kelce retired, to be able to replace Jason Kelce on and off the field. That's the thing in Philadelphia that a lot of people don't talk about, is that this is a 24/7 job. There are no days off. You got to show up all the time. And Cam Jurgens does that. So congratulations to Cam. It just goes to show as well how smart and tapped in Howie Roseman is. Out of, I think, the 11 starters on offense, 8 or 9 of them are signed through 2028. That's nuts. That's ridiculous. So these guys are going to go off. I expect them to have a really good run here. And welcome back, Cam Jurgens. Glad to see you back, Beef Jerky. All those years blocking cows in your driveway have paid off now.
Yeah, I was surprised. Let's just say that this was not a graphic that we had previously made. Thank you to Joey and Dalton for blowing up my phone. I really appreciated it. This was one that I was super excited about. This needed to happen. It gives us, again, just continuing to build that core for that long term, because prior to this past season, when we had Jason, we had roughly like 42 years of experience within that core four just on the Eagles alone. So we're kind of starting to build the foundation for, again, another one of those core offensive lines that would be with us for the long haul. So that's exciting, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth the extension. I mean, he stepped up, especially this year, kind of replacing the shoes of Jason Kelce, and I think he's worth it. I mean, this dude was from day one such a great offensive lineman, and just to see how athletic he is, just like Jason Kelce, you need a center like that, and I think he came into his own and is a leader. So I'm glad we decided to give him this extension, because it's definitely well deserved.
I think he's going to find his. Sorry, go ahead.
One more thing. I mean, I agree with Moose. I mean, that's one thing that the Eagles are always good at, is that they are always able to build in the trenches. And I mean, when you have a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts or running back like Saquon Barkley, the offensive line it should be your priority. And I think in years past, the Eagles have definitely developed the offensive line in a great way, and definitely helps in the long run. So that's a good comment, Moose. I appreciate that. Sorry, Guy Dalton.
All good. The thing I was going to say is, I just feel like with Cam, he's so tapped in. Like, he's smarter than he leads on. So I already know what kind of play he's going to have. This is going to continue for years to come, him playing at a high level at center. The Eagles extended him for that reason. But I think he's going to come into his own with his personality off the field with the Eagles. That's really tough. Probably the toughest shoes to fill, you could argue, in Philadelphia sports history, because you're coming into the new age of social media with the biggest guy in the city who probably is going to have a statue one day, and you got to live up to the hype. I mean, as an offensive lineman, you got to be that guy. And I really think he's going to do something, whether it's at the Eagles Autism Challenge, whether it's at the drinking event that Jason Kelsey hosts during the summer, wearing some overalls or something, doing something funny like that. He's going to have a moment that solidifies himself as the next generation's Jason Kelsey, I think. Like, Jason Kelsey wasn't that personality, and especially media personality, and as famous as he is, until a little bit later in his career. It wasn't until that 2022 Super Bowl, when it was Jason and Travis in the Super Bowl, and Travis was dating Taylor Swift at the time too, that I would really say Jason Kelsey was like everywhere. I think Cam Jurgens has the same potential, where eventually he could be everywhere. He could be like the next generation's Jason Kelsey, but it's all going to start somewhere. So what's that moment going to be, right? Jason Kelsey had his. What's his going to be? Jason Kelsey's had plenty of them. You can name some of them, like the beer at the Bills game where he's shirtless and he just dumps all the beer all over himself, or the photo of him jumping up and down with the Philly fanatic, or his Super Bowl speech. He's had his moments that as Philadelphia fans, we go, yep, that's our guy. And he doesn't even have to do a second of play to earn so much respect and love from Philadelphia fans. Like, all three moments that I've said don't involve playing the sport of football at all. It's either him spectating an event or him announcing something. So it just shows the power of personality, I think. And I really think that Cam Jurgens for the Eagles could be that generation's next kind of, guy. Gutso, maybe per se, as Jason Kelsey would say today, talking about the Phillies. But guys, it is draft week. I think one of the most exciting times of the year. It's personally my third favorite week of the year. Don't ask me to rank them, but it's up there in my top, 5 favorite weeks of the year. It's that time of the year when all of your studying throughout the offseason really pays off. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to have a tough decision. At pick 32, who might fall to them? If not, do they decide to trade up throughout the draft? Names like Walter Nolan, names like Jack Sawyer, names like maybe Derek Harmon Jr., Nick Amanawari, names like Malachi Starks, all guys that maybe they could trade up for, maybe could fall to them, depending on who I've named. But the question here being asked is who could fall to the Eagles at pick 32. It's actually really funny because I kind of made a diagram about it, I guess you could say. If you guys haven't, go watch the YouTube video. We have a ton of awesome draft content out. First off, I just want to show this really quick. I apologize for a quick delay, but we did a full-on draft guide. So this is like the last chance you guys can have. It's literally for free. It's on our Instagram story. Go download it. It's a full-on catalog that will break down the NFL draft. All you need is 23 pieces of paper and 3 staples, and you're golden, baby. You're rolling like NFL Network. But give it a read if you haven't. Some of the guys that I talk about in that and my YouTube video I dropped last night for potentially falling to the Eagles, Nick Amanawari, as I said. Colston Loveland is a great name, a tight end that could be a potential replacement for Dallas Goedert, a great player out of Michigan. A lot of people really think he's up there with Tyler Warren, talent-wise. And last but not least, Donovan Azayareku. I believe I pronounced that right. Yeah, Donovan Azayareku out of Boston College. This is the gentleman that Ashley was talking about on last week's podcast. Donovan Azayareku just plays with a conviction. He's smart. And he kind of has a switch like Mike Green. Like, he's a really nice guy, but once he gets on that football field, he's a different player. And I think that he could be a name you could see the Eagles keeping an eye on, especially with the fact that he's from South Jersey. I think that could play a big piece. His family could come to a lot of games. It would make him feel at home in a lot of ways. So Donovan Azayareku, I think, would be a great player that you could see in Midnight Green for the Eagles. But Ashley, Jack, anyone that you guys potentially want to see fall to the Birds at 32?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you. Go ahead.
If we don't end up getting Donovan, I think Walter Nolan could be a great pick. He is a defensive tackle out of Mississippi. And he, I think, can really kind of help us kind of just get that defensive line to where we want it to be. We have a really strong core, but again, we need to be looking for those next things. I've even seen some things about like us potentially trading Jordan Davis if we want to trade up. I don't want to be trading up. I don't think we need to. This is the first time in a long time that I feel really solid about where our team is at. So I don't want to be trading up. But I'm hoping that if we cannot get Donovan, that Walter Nolan will be falling as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before, I think somebody that if we go defense, that would be a great pickup and could fall to 32 is Xavier Watts of Notre Dame, safety out of Notre Dame. He's that player that we kind of need, and I think he'll be a great replacement for Gardner Minshew, CJGJ. I think that could be a sneaky pick. Another guy that, from what I've researched, Tyler Warren from Penn State tight end could potentially drop down to us at 32 because from what I've seen, tight ends are not going to be a priority this draft, and I think I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen that he drops down to us, and I think that would be a great compliment to our tight end because who knows what we're doing with Dallas Goedert. I mean, Grant Calcaterra has definitely stepped into his own, but I think adding Tyler Warren is going to be huge. He is a unicorn at tight end for what he can do, being 6'7", whatever, how tall he is, and I mean, not really dropping many passes and being a good key blocker. I think he could potentially drop down to 32. So we'll see what happens. But my radar's set on Xavier Watts is who I would like to see in Philadelphia. Also, I don't know if you guys, Dalton, you may have watched it before, but it's called Welcome to the NFL, and it's like all the potentially rookies in the draft. And they did one about Abdul Carter, and obviously we're not going to get him. But it was his dad and him playing pool, and his dad was wearing a shirt that's like father, like son, and it was Eagles. It was an Eagles jersey on his shirt. So I saw that. I was like, that's interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
You were
You're
muted,
muted, buddy.
Sorry, practicing name pronunciation in the back so I can make sure I nail Nick Emanwari's name when we draft him tomorrow. But no, seriously, Abdul Carter would be so cool to play as an Eagle. It may not happen right away. You're right. Like, it may not happen draft night. It might be something where he goes out, plays for the Browns or the Giants, a dysfunctional, idiotic franchise. And look at what happened with Saquon Barkley. It came back around. Xavier Watts, though, was a name that I really liked out of Notre Dame, Jack. He's my third-ranked safety in this draft, I believe right before Kevin Winston at Penn State. I know Philadelphia just brought Kevin Winston in for a little draft visit. Could be a potential third or fourth round that you guys could see the Eagles take. But I really, really think Xavier Watts kind of reminds me of the way that Kyle Hamilton played a couple years ago. Just a really good safety, smart ball hawk, but also can lay a hit when he needs to. Like don't disrespect the dude because you'll get put on your ass. So I think Xavier Watts would look good in midnight green. I like that pick a lot. It might be because you're a Notre Dame fan, you're a Notre Dame bum. Maybe you have a little bit of a bias, but I like that pick a lot.
No, I'm telling you, this draft, there's going to be a lot of key guys coming out of Notre Dame on the defense side. I mean, if you watched them at all last season, you will understand what I'm talking about. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think the Notre Dame pick is interesting. Do you think that the Eagles could trade down for Xavier Watts or potentially see them trade up in the second round with that pick 64 overall for Xavier?
Dude, I like all the draft boards, like mock draft boards I've seen, his name wasn't even mentioned to the second round. So I don't think we'll see him pass like before 32. And I mean, like Ashley said, if we want to trade down, I feel like we're gonna have to give up a lot to trade down. And I don't think necessarily 32 is a tough spot to be at, but at the same time, it's like I don't think Xavier Watts is going to get picked up. I could be wrong before 32. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, you're not wrong either. To trade up, it's going to cost a lot, and it may not be worth it for the Birds. But trading down, I like that idea a lot for the Eagles. I think if they could find out a way to trade down, Xavier Watts could be a really great, or maybe trade up in the second round if that's kind of the route that they want to take. Maybe trade that pick 32 overall back and then sit later in the round, like pick 40, pick 45, and then keep pick 64 and pick there too. And you're getting two quality players, and maybe you have 2 firsts next year. What all Eagles fans need to keep in mind is that we are in the process of building a dynasty, my friends. This thing is not going to happen overnight. The mastermind, Howie Roseman, is at work. He's doing his thing. He's probably hasn't slept in a couple of days. I know it's his favorite week of the dang year, but just let this guy cook. Let him do his thing, because I bet you're going to see one of these guys as a Philadelphia Eagle. That might be a hot take right now, but Malachi Starks, Abdul Carter, or Tyler Warren, you are a Philadelphia Eagle. Congratulations. I think he could either find a way to trade up in the first round. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy like Abdul Carter. That's a blue moon. That's a real blockbuster, once a Halley's Comet type of thing, right? That's not going to happen. However, Tyler Warren could fall, like Jack said, maybe to pick 22, and they decide to trade up there, pick 23, or Malachi Starks, who a lot of people on their big board have him in the top 10 overall players, like one of the most impressive combines overall. So if that guy on your screen all the way to the left finds a way to finagle one of these 3 players in this year's draft, stay tuned, Eagles fans, because that's what we're doing. We're building a dynasty. And the key here is that you don't have to pay one of these fantastic players for a couple of years because they're going to be on a rookie deal. That's the thing. I'm not all for trading A.J. Brown. I'm not all for trading Jordan Davis, who I understand does a lot in, the run stop. But if you have a chance to upgrade with one of these exceptional defensive tackles like Derek Harmon, like Kenneth Grant, like Walter Nolan, why wouldn't you? Or maybe you have a chance at one of these badass edge rushers like Mike Green or Donovan Azayareku or James Pierce Jr. I think you're going to see Howie Roseman look at what is the most value, and not round by round, but pick by pick, minute by minute throughout the first round. You are going to see this dude, and you're not going to understand. Nobody's going to know when it's going to happen. It's going to be like fucking Batman. It's going to come out of nowhere. The pick has been traded. I watched a documentary last night, and I'll leave it at this. If you guys haven't, go check out the Eagles YouTube channel. They did a great job with it. But they asked Howie Roseman a bunch of questions about draft night. What does he do? What does he think like? And he said, when I first came in the league, I was a little bit nervous to make trades because it was all these older guys that were intimidating that, I knew were going to shoot down my wild ideas. Nowadays, it's all guys I came up with. These are all my buddies, guys I know. So it's almost like, hey, man, or as he says, his infamous line, hey, buddy, when he picked, hey, buddy, and he gives that smile when you see him like, hey, buddy. So I think Howie Roseman you're going to hear a lot of hey, buddies tomorrow night. He's not satisfied with the way that last draft went after the Super Bowl. And that's not necessarily his fault. I said this on last night's draft show too. I think that was partly because of Alshon Jeffrey. If Alshon Jeffrey catches that ball, the Eagles win that game. And the double doink, maybe that didn't go that way. That wouldn't have been his fault. Things just happen. But I think what he's going to do with this draft is do what he did last year after losing to the Chiefs. Making sure that they do not fall flat on their face and that they come out with another ring after this.
Jack, you can take it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can see happening is that we trade the Chargers, our 32 pick overall and our 96 pick overall to get pick number 22. And, we can see players like Walter Nolan, Jalen Walker, things of that nature, because the Eagles need to draft a big impact player, and I think those guys would be a huge impact for this defense. So that's really the only thing I could see happening. Whether or not it will happen, who knows? But I think, if we trade the only way we can trade down is if we trade up 32 pick and 96 to get whatever pick is for the other team. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think Howie's cooking something. My guess is that we're going to kind of see how the first 10 to 12 picks go. Most of the time there's not a whole lot of movement that happens. And when they do, it's kind of like swapping one place to another. It's not huge. People jump in 10, 15 spots. I think if those go the way that they are intending to go in terms of, the majority of draft boards, I think we're going to stick with 32. I think Howie would rather trade in terms of those later days when you can really get a lot more bang for your buck in terms of both players and then future draft picks. So current and future draft picks. That is kind of what I'm thinking. However, we know to expect the unexpected. And I know we will all anxiously be watching our TVs tomorrow night. And then also Friday night. It's a whole weekend. So Friday and Saturday as well.
Draft day, man. It's going to be fun. They asked Howie as well, what is your favorite day of the draft? And he said Saturday. Saturday is just a day in the third, fourth round where you can really start, and, the rest of the draft too, I guess, with the fifth and sixth, where you can really start to find these guys of, hey, who can be a real game changer for my franchise? Who can turn this team around? There's a lot of guys in this draft. It's deep. Like I was saying on last night's draft show, once again, if you guys haven't, go download the draft catalog. It would mean a ton to me. It's literally free, and it's just like a magazine, something you would get in the store. It's hilarious. So go give it a read. We put a lot of hard work into it. But on last night's draft show as well on our YouTube, I said that now I forget the point I was going with. ADHD's a bitch. That's how it goes. Now I remember that when you look at the top three players in this draft, in my opinion, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty, and Travis Hunter, the gap in the 3 to 4 guy is tremendous. I mean, actually the top 5 players, I would say, because Mason Graham and Armand Membu are great players, but Tyler Warren and then, Michael Williams, Cam Ward, Jahad Campbell, Malachi Starks, you look at that gap between all of them, there's a gap there. And then I would say once you get out of the top 25 prospects, top 30, there's a real gap there. And then it's like, okay, you got third and fourth round talent, guys that, could make a name, could make a difference. Guys like Keely Ringo a couple years ago, who has been a difference maker for the Eagles. And then once you get out of the third and fourth round, then it's just a regular NFL draft. So it's going to be really interesting to see how a lot of these teams manage this, because there's a lot of depth in this draft. And there's going to be a lot of gems. But let us know in the comments, what are you guys most excited for? That's pretty much everything we got tonight on the show. I think we'll wait a week to do trivia if that's okay with you guys, just because it's only the three of us. Jack, I'll keep your question in the bottom. If anybody gets it this week in the comments, we will count that for next week. But just for time's sake, I think we'll wrap it up here. And let us know in the comments, who do you guys want the Eagles to draft? Excited to watch the NFL draft tomorrow. We'll probably be going live too, so stay tuned for that. Should be a bunch of fun. But Jackson, you want to go ahead and take us out of here, brother?
Yes. Make sure you download the draft catalog for us. Like Dalton said, we put a lot of work into it, and it'd be a blessing for you guys to do it. And I'm in Virginia right now, so I'm going to try to be quiet, but I'm still going to do my natural thing. Hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that outro. Go Birds.
What we got? 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks.